Damn you, Xenos, we will never fall. Cadia stands. The planet broke before the Guard did, you cowards. We beat you. The planet
Shut up! Only Terra do you always say that. Like by Sanguinius' toes, normally us Kriegsmen are quiet, we do our job. But if I hear one more person yell that stupid-ass line, I swear by the throne, I'll beat your head in with my shovel.
What? No, it's our battle cry. We stood diligently at the Eye of Terror. They could not defeat us. The planet...
Don't fucking say it. I'm not playing. I'll bash your skull in right now.
Well, what else are we supposed to do? If you're so much better than me, what should us Cadians do?
Rebuild your planet as a death world. Repent your sins to the Emperor and beg his forgiveness for your miserable failure. Then take your shovel and charge directly into the enemy's firing line.
Are you mental? What the hell is this? A video not about Space Marines? Oh, wait a minute, this joke literally doesn't work. I've been doing Xenos videos lately. Oh, shit. Well, remember to like and subscribe, I guess. And, shit, how do I transition from this? Today's video is about the Imperial Guard, but we are talking about the baddest of the bad. You've probably heard about these titty-twisting, chaos-smacking, no-shit-having kings and queens, but if you haven't, hey, I guess this is the perfect time for you to Google these absolute mega units. These aren't ranked in any particular order, as always timestamps below, and don't forget to praise the God Emperor of mankind. The Attilan Rough Riders. These guys give Teddy Roosevelt and Genghis Khan a stiffy. Rough Riders are a group of cavalry units that the Imperium still employs. Why the fuck would they still be using horses when there are grav tanks and titans? It's quite simple really, it's fucking awesome. Imagine a firing line of guardsmen all pinned down when out of nowhere a lone whistle sounds across the battlefield, a thunderous applause of hooves and battle cries of dead men charging towards Chaos Space Marines. The Rough Riders melt the charge-tipped lances blasting the Owl Heretic Astartes back a millennia. Sounds pretty dope, right? Well, the Attilan Rough Riders are the next step of horsing around. These guys live on a backwards-ass planet doing backwards-ass things. For one, they refuse to bathe, which... I mean, fair enough. It kind of seems like something a Nurgle worshipper would do, but alright. They also refuse to accept medals, believing that the only way to showcase your skills is to receive scars on the battlefield. But despite doing a few things not to Imperium regulation, they go so hard. Raised on a flyover planet, the Attilans are a nomadic tribe very similar to the White Scars. Only difference is they don't have space bikes. Instead, they have space horses. These horses are made of some tough shit too. For example, the Attilan Rough Riders are downright bloodthirsty and always ready to square up. So on the world of Luxar 4, when a Necron Tomb World was accidentally activated, these guys were more than ready to ride out at dawn. They spent 3 years fighting against the insanity that is the Necrons. Can you believe that? That's batshit insane. But that didn't even cross the minds of the Attilan Rough Riders. Led by Mogul Khmer, the Rough Riders would relentlessly battle the technologically superior aliens to a standstill. Inflicting and receiving as much damage as they put out, the Rough Riders were downright exhausted, and even the steeds themselves were beginning to drop like flies just from the constant charging of the Guard. Still, they persevered, and Mogul Khmer was able to rally his men for one final assault. With his men behind him and his lance far in front of him, these men and women shattered the remaining Necrons and unplugged their power supply unit, effectively causing the Necrons to have an error 404. As thanks, the tech priest of Luxor gave this dude a cybernetic horse. I mean, sure, you can have a jet bike or a fucking tank, but instead you choose a fake horse. Rule of cool, baby. That's the good shit right there. The Valhallan Ice Warriors. I guarantee you've never heard of these bad boys, but can guarantee you have heard the name of Caiaphas Cain. Commissar Cain can get his own video because his exploits and lore, well, it's weird enough to make an orc question whether or not that's possible, but without going too far into his lore, the Valhallan Ice Warriors are so renowned specifically because of Cain. See, most commissars don't have any issues blowing your brains out if you disobey an order, not Cain. See, Cain, he inspires his men and women, learning their names, doing everything he can to protect them, and even going out of his way to get them personalized gifts for their birthdays. The Ice Warriors work so well because they are a tight-knit group ready to do anything for their leader. The planet Valhalla is pretty much just a copy-paste of the Space Wolf's home planet Fenris. The main difference being that a fucking Primarch landed on Fenris and not Valhalla. Valhallan Ice Warriors specialize in cold weather environments. Go fucking figure. They also excel at fighting orcs, this being due to the fact that orcs have routinely tried to invade their ice planet. Why would the orcs do this? No idea, but they do it anyway. These guys excel at holding out. Unlike guardsmen from Krieg, they aren't super suicidal, but will defend a point to the last man standing. Overall, they have a varied unit roster, but their artillery and special weapons are what they are primarily known for. They also have so many exploits due to the fact that a good portion of Commissar Kane's career was spent with them. But the safest way to explain them is like this. Whenever there are orcs, there is usually a Valhallan Ice Warrior with an autocannon getting ready to deliver a big ol' fuck you. They mostly sealed their spot on this list as their ingenuity in combat is downright insane. I mean, at one point, these guys were just about to be starved out from the orcs. Instead of giving up, these mad lads decided to drill massive tunnels on their ice planet directly under the orcs' base camp. Without missing a beat, they got the heavy flamers and cooked the green skins from underneath their own camp, making grilled mushroom shish kebabs in the process. Truly loyal servants of the Emperor, and while they really are only mentioned during Kane's conquest, these heroes are still kicking bubblegum and chewing ass. Mordant Acid Dogs. Imagine, you are a simple chaos cultist. You're just trying to mind your business instead about your daily prayers to the dark gods, when, all of a sudden, you're covered in goo. And no, not the sticky fun goo of Nurgle, or the baby batter of Slanesh. Nah, this shit is acid. Enter the Mordant Acid Dogs. These bad bitches don't give a fuck. They said, you get a jar, you get a jar, you get a jar of acid. Basically, they're Oprah Winfrey of acidic purging in the name of the Emperor. The planet Mordant, like many other planets on this list, is an awful place to live. It's not quite a death world, but instead it's a mining world where everyone there is a broke-ass bitch. See, unless you are extremely lucky, while you're mining, you will more than likely have to join the Imperial Guard just to eat the garlic-salted corpse rations that you can barely afford. These guys are so broke that most of the time they don't even get standard Imperial Guard equipment, hence why many of them will scavenge weapons from a battlefield, or simply use the mining equipment that is available to them. Now, being permanently stuck in the poverty zone does a lot to you. For one, you become a giant asshole. 2, you probably coupon your groceries. And 3, you end up like those people who say God will make it better for us. In this case, that's true as fuck, as these guys have to be divinely protected by the God Emperor. These guys are so good at fighting that they managed to stop a minor black crusade led by a Slaneshi champion called Jahir. Now, everyone hates Jahar. I mean, the fucking universe is in agony just by him walking around. And while there were plenty of other Imperial Guardsmen on the field, it was the Mordant Lucky 13 that would deal the killing blow. Just to put this in perspective, these guys were in a full-blown chaos world, battered, beaten, and getting primed for some S-tier non-consensual anal play. Did they surrender? Nah, they said fuck that, and unleashed all of their heavy weapons, desperately trying to end the incursion once and for all. They charged forward to the Chaos Champion, and their leading commander said, hey pussy, 1v1 me. How the fuck did this work? We will never know, but the end result is that Jahar was banished back to the warp. These heroes of the Imperium were barely able to survive, and on their return ship, you think that they would be lauded for their faith. Nope. Fucking Inquisition shows up and kills them all. I hate the Inquisition. I guarantee this isn't what Malcador wanted when he made these dumb fucks. Excuse me. The Catachan Jungle Fighters. That was a stupid joke. Next up on the list is a name some of you might have heard, especially if you've ever heard of the greatest champion in the Imperium, the elite guardsman known as Sly Marborough. The Catachan Jungle Fighters are protein-having, death world slaying, prime cheek, grazing guardsmen. Physically taller and stronger than almost any other normal human, these guys literally eat nails for breakfast without any milk. Catachan is a death world that is easily explained as the Amazon jungle on black tar heroin and bath salts. Everything wants to kill you. Everyday life is a fucking struggle where you either need to nut up or shut up. And finally, they're all downright having the time of their lives. See, these men and women of Catachan live for crazy ass scenarios. Being excellent jungle fighters and guerrilla tacticians, they do everything in their power to bend the enemies over their knee and give them a good old slappy wappy. Most of the time, they even request to go to other death worlds because it reminds them of home, where there is like massive jungle scorpions, which to be honest, I just nope out of life at that point. I'm terrified of giant bugs. Like, have you ever seen a camel spider? That shit, oof. No. Despite the crazy conditions they live in, they aren't downtrodden, but instead cracking jokes and making memes in their free time. They usually don't give a flying fuck about commissars that arrive on their planet, as most of the time they just let their commanding officers get eaten by the massive carnivorous plants that come up from the toilet pipes. However, if a commissar can keep up with them, then that leader is valued over all else. Basically, if you prove yourself to be useful, you're one of them, you're one of the boys. Though proving yourself is like having to stick your wiener in a blender for an hour and hope you don't bleed out. Then you guys can go get matching tattoos. Now comes the part of the video where I talk about Sly Marlboro, but instead of giving you detailed lore, I'm going to do Chuck Norris jokes because they might as well be the same person, so here we go. When Sly Marlboro got shot by a las gun, the laser felt the pain and disintegrated itself. Sly Marlboro is so tough that when a Dark Elder homunculus was torching him with a machine, the alien turned it to max power, and Sly Marlboro asked if it was even on. When Sly Marlboro was playing poker with the Emperor of Mankind, the Emperor couldn't call his bluff. Sly Marlboro is so stealthy that he was able to sneak up on purple orcs. Thank you for coming to my Sly Marlboro talks. The Death Corps of Krieg. Can I really have a video about Imperial Guard regiments and not talk about the Death Corps of Krieg? Pretty much everyone knows about them, so I'm going to summarize them in a few sentences. Okay, here we go. Rebellion on loyal world. Rebel leaders on a well-defended planet. Imperium said, could not aid loyalists. Loyalist forces said, hey, fuck it, nuke the planet. Nukes turn Krieg into a death world for hundreds of years, forcing remaining factions to live underground. Planet eventually gets back into Loyalist control, but now everyone is brainwashed. They gotta repent their sins to the Emperor. Only in death does duty end. There you go. Now you know every minute detail when it comes to Krieg. Truly, I don't think these guys would have gotten as popular as they did if there wasn't for 3 reasons. First off, meme status. I'm pretty sure no 40k fan can look at a shovel and not think of a Kriegsman. 2, they look dope as fuck. I mean, compare them to other regiments and you tell me which one you'd rather choose. 3, they are downright certified badasses. They once bombed a city for years, and when the enemy finally gave up, they bombed them for a few more years. These guys truly believe that they have to repent their sins for their planet rebelling against the God Emperor of mankind. So, their devotion to the Emperor is downright Black Templar level. As they never retreat from the meat grinder and go out of their way to bayonet charge any ugly-ass chaos spawn, Kriegsmen believe that if they don't give their life in service to the Emperor, they will never be able to be forgiven of their sins. Despite this, they are one of the more reasonable units in the Imperium, as they love their heavy weaponry, and even have specifically modified las guns that pack quite a punch. Don't let that fool you though, as they are just as willing to throw hands, carrying holy shovels made from the Emperor's own third favorite chair. These guys charge well-defended choke points just to purge the enemy faster. Their commissars have to do everything they can to prevent them from charging in all willy-nilly, but if the commissar orders a retreat, you better fucking believe he is about to be shot for being a fucking pussy. The Death Corps of Krieg are also very similar to the Catachan jungle fighters, as they love planets that have low survivability. Going back to highlight their faith, they believe that the harder they fight, the more brownie points they get from the Emperor, which obviously must fucking work considering they have been getting a lot of spotlight from GW. And that's the video. There are plenty of other regiments of renown when it comes to the Imperium, but I find that the more interesting they are, the more suicidal they tend to be. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good holiday. Hopefully your tummy isn't too wumbly from all the sugar you decide to eat. Daddy Daka will give you a stomach rub and a smooch on the forehead. As always, thanks for watching.